Hi, and welcome to Happyish. It's a little podcast where we just take a happiness idea each week and have a bit of a discussion about it. So I'm Sally, and this is my lovely husband.
Oh, thank you very much. Your husband, Chris. And this week we are talking about...
We're talking about meditation. I'm a little bit nervous about talking about meditation. I'm not a meditation teacher, just to start by saying that. But it's a really interesting subject, and it's something that I do, and I find it very helpful. And so I think it does contribute to my happiness. And
You're going to say, and Chris does it. I have done it a few times.
Yeah.
And I've really liked it when I've done it. But why don't I do it every day? We'll come to that, won't we? Should we talk about how?
Well, I was just going to talk first about why to meditate. So I've got a little thing here which suggests that meditating is kind of going behind the curtain on a stage play and getting your actor's clothes replaced. Or another one, which I really like, is the way water comes into a well when it's left overnight. So it's just refreshing the background of your life. And it's because it's good to do because we need to relax, but we kind of need to relax in a refreshing way. And when you just go home and slump in front of the television, it's quite just dulling. You don't really get anything from it. And you quite often get up from an evening watching our current favourite, which is Lincoln Lawyer. But anyway.
You watch a whole load of murders and stress.
And then you kind of go to bed and you just feel dull. Whereas meditation is to refresh you, to just calm your mind.
Yes, the way I think of it is your brain doesn't get a chance to disentangle itself while you're watching The Lincoln Lawyer. No. In fact, it's adding more tanglement. Yeah. Or your daily problems are just on hold. And then once the programme's finished, it's a great programme, by the way, all those problems are still there.
Yeah.
And so you just need time for your brain to disentangle. And you could just go for a walk, and that's pretty good for disentanglement. But meditation goes deeper than that, doesn't it? It's more than just your brain being... having a chance to relax.
Yeah,
it's something deeper.
I've got another little definition here, which means you result with a grounded body, an open heart, and a clear mind. Which isn't that great?
Yeah.
And it can be possible to do that.
Well, I can still remember when we first went to be taught how to meditate.
Yeah.
And I said, why? Why do I need to do this? What's the benefit? It's typical me.
That's a reasonable question.
Yeah. And they said, it'll give you whatever you are looking for. Yeah. And I said, well, but what kind of things? I wanted a shopping list of maybe 10 things it might give me. And well, great, I'll do it in that case because 3 of those are things I want. What's in the shop? Whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I found that weird. But, I was going to say what I did get from it. Because what I found, the first thing I found after I had done it the first time, I found it quite easy to do, but we'll come back to that later, surprisingly easy. The first thing I found was I felt really energetic afterwards. When the little ping went and the time was over, my brain felt, oof, it was like you'd restarted your computer.
Yeah.
And all those little... Apparently computers have lots of little processes that are running all the time, and gradually another one starts and another one starts. And the reason your computer slows down is because it's got like 20 of these little things running. Whereas when you switch it off and then switch it on again, it restarts with nothing running in the background. And it's almost like that. There's also defragging where when you close something and there's a bit left on that side, and then you open something and there's lots of little bits, and with defragging it bunches it all into proper clumps of where things ought to be, so it sort of tidies up where everything's stored. And it's almost like you defrag your brain when you meditate because it sort of clears everything up. So it really does feel like the computer has been refreshed, and my brain felt fantastic after I'd meditated the first time.
And yet you don't meditate every day.
Well, we'll come back to that in a minute. But the other thing I felt after doing it was I felt more control over my brain. So, for example, if I'm walking the dog the last dog walk of the night at sort of midnight, I've always got the option to turn around and go back. The dog wants to go further, but I sort of think, oh, we've gone far enough, I'll turn back. And sometimes I think to myself, I'm just going to go a bit further.
Yeah.
Just because I know I want to turn around, but just to prove to myself that I've got control over what I do. I don't have to always just do what I kind of want to do. So to discipline myself, I go a bit further. Sometimes I even go a bit further than going a bit further. And it's just a little game I play with myself to prove to myself that I can do whatever I want, even if I don't want to do it. And that's kind of weird because I'm proving to me, like who's proving to who? And there's something, since I've been doing meditation, I've found I've got much better control over even my thoughts and also my actions of whether I'm lazy, whether I avoid things, whether I put things off. And it's as if you've got the sort of day-to-day you that's a bit crap. And then you've got the higher you that controls the day-to-day and says, no, I'm not going to be crap today. But who is saying, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to be lazy, I'm not going to procrastinate this task I don't want to do? Because there are layers in your brain, aren't there?
Yeah.
Do you want to say a bit about those layers? Because I know you know about them.
It has a spiritual aspect in its ultimate form, in that you are trying to reach that higher, that deeper part of you.
But it isn't God who's controlling bits of my brain. I think I'm digging into a higher bit of my own brain to control my lower bits of brain.
You know, tomatoes. It's kind of, it doesn't matter what you call it. You know, I could think of it as God. You can think of it as just the higher brain. It's those.
Okay, but you're talking about God that's within your brain, though.
Yeah. You're looking for something. Meditation in its ultimate form, you're trying to go beyond the material world. You're looking deeper. But that's a different aspect of it, I think, than what we can maybe talk about here.
But I have noticed self-control has come as well as creativity, you know, two benefits from it. And they've been lasting. So the creativity only just has a reboot each time you do it, and it doesn't last for that long. But they're having better control of my thought processes, I think has been something that I've permanently gained from meditating only a small number of times.
Oh, okay, that's brilliant.
Yeah, which is weird. And if I'd said to them, is that a known benefit? I'm sure they would have gone, oh, yes, because you get every possible benefit. So I wonder, I'm not saying that everyone else should meditate so they could get that.
No.
But it's almost as if whatever you need, you probably will get. Certainly it's worth a try, and it is free. Why
well,
would
I
you
heard
not?
somebody say that don't meditate like an addict. So you're meditating and you're trying to find something. You're looking for that high. You're looking for whatever it is that you think you might gain from it. You just need to meditate and see what happens.
Because I didn't go in expecting those things. I just thought, let's try it and see what happens. But those are two things that I've noticed that have come from it.
Okay, well, that's fantastic.
But so, because I think you've got the animal you that wants to eat and drink and be lazy or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you've got your talking voice, which is the voice that says, I really shouldn't eat that chocolate and I really should try to get more sleep. But I think there's a third voice above that, which doesn't say anything, but which observes your talking voice. Because obviously when you're saying to yourself, I should get more exercise, you're aware that you're saying it. So there is some third level that's aware of the battle between the other two levels. And I think meditation strengthens that third level, whatever it is. I don't have the name for it.
Yeah, it gives you access to it.
Yeah.
Because if you're just normally going on through your life, then you don't have access to that peace and that knowledge and that awareness.
But when you're switching off your talking voice, which is what you do when you meditate, you give this other voice this other level a chance to get involved, but you're not aware of it because it's almost as if you're asleep or whatever. So you're not aware that it's doing it, but somehow switching off the talking voice does seem to improve the voice above that.
So and then you're back to your computer unwinding. What did you call it? Defragging.
Yes.
So that's the same thing because your computer does start up again, doesn't it? And it goes, and everything that you wanted to look at is there.
Yeah.
So it's that same kind of thing.
And So why don't I meditate every day? And, the easy answer is time. It's 15 minutes. But of course, that's rubbish because 15 minutes is nothing. You could do it if you wanted.
Yeah.
But you told me why we don't meditate.
Did I?
Yeah. Well, yes, you said to me.
Do enlighten me. What did I say? I was obviously very wise in that moment.
Well, you might have found out more since then. But you told me years ago that the reason we don't meditate is because our ego resists being controlled.
Well, yes.
So the talking voice, which is your ego, because you've got your id, which is the bit that wants to eat the chocolate. The talking voice, which is the ego, likes to run the show. And it doesn't want to be switched off for 15 minutes and restarted.
It knows it will be in trouble.
Yes. And so it's very good at coming up with excuses. I haven't got time. No, let's not do it now. And the postman's going to deliver a parcel from Amazon and you'll probably get interrupted anyway. So don't meditate. Or it's so clever at finding reasons to not meditate.
Yeah. And I think another thing is that we always talk about practicing meditation. I practice meditation because that's what you're doing. You're just practicing each time. So you don't, so really you don't do it because you think, oh God, I need 15 minutes and I need to be really still and I need to be this and I need to be that. And all you need to do is sit in your chair and do it and see what comes from it. So not have any expectations of what's going on. And if you do it often enough, and there's so many people say, oh, I couldn't possibly meditate because my mind is just too busy. Well, you really need to meditate, in my view.
So you could say I shouldn't talk about the benefits because it might give people expectations and they should go in with them. But I think for people like me, I want to know there are some benefits because otherwise why should I do it? So, but other people may get different benefits from the ones I've been talking about.
You get what you get. So it's good for you to talk about the benefits because you're encouraging people that there are good things that come from it or it can work for you. It worked for you, but that doesn't mean, so if you try and meditate and you don't immediately find it helpful, then don't give up, practice. Like going to the gym, it's like working a muscle.
But have you got better at it over time?
Yes.
Because when I first did it, I thought it was going to be really difficult and these people take years to learn it, these gurus. And I was actually amazed at how easy it was. But maybe if I did it more often, I'd get even better at it. But I feel I can do it. And I'm not quite sure what better would mean because I feel that it works already. I think anyone can do it straight away and it'll work, I would say.
Yes, better is not necessarily the right word to use. Because you can do it just for 5 minutes. And we were talking fairly recently about pausing, and it's similar to that, but it's deeper. So just do it for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and see what happens.
See what happens. You've got nothing to lose. It definitely won't do you any harm, will it? And to sit silently for 10 or 15 minutes.
Yes. And people have this impression that you have to sit on the floor cross-legged and have a completely empty mind.
Well, I can't sit cross-legged anyway. I'm too stiff to do that.
No, but you can sit in a chair.
Well, should we go on to talk about how then? Should we talk about how to do it now?
So you need to not be going to sleep.
So you sit on quite a hard chair, like one of these, just a hard chair, upright?
You can sit anywhere. The main thing that you want is to be upright. And I normally close my eyes, but I was reading recently that it's quite good to meditate with your eyes open because you're wanting to be aware. It's resting awareness. So anyway.
Yeah, I do it with my eyes open.
Do you? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, I close my eyes.
I sit in a hard chair. If I sit in a comfortable chair, I'd fall asleep in no time. And if I shut my eyes, I fall asleep really easily. So I sit with my eyes open on a hard chair and I stare at something restful.
Well, that was the other thing.
Like an apple.
It's very helpful to have something to focus on. So some people focus on an item like a candle or whatever. Some people go with breathing.
The first time I ever did it, I was staring at a hedge.
Oh, okay.
And I just sat and I just looked at a hedge. Because you don't want to be looking at something distracting. You don't want to be looking out of your window at a car park with people going in and out of cars or something.
No.
But just something quite restful.
Yes.
And non-distracting.
And you have to be somewhere where you're comfortable, I think, to be. I remember when we first started, you tried meditating in the car. You were parked in the car park and you just thought, right, I'll get in my 15 minutes. But you couldn't do it because you were in the driver's seat of the car. Even though the car was parked, you kind of, your brain.
You think, oh my God, I've fallen asleep while I'm driving. Yeah, I couldn't relax in the driver's seat of a car. I could do it in the passenger's seat, though, funnily enough. That was all right.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, that was fine.
Yeah.
But I use a mantra, but not everybody uses a mantra. So if you have something for your brain to focus on, and then when the thoughts come in, because they will, and they do, is what I like to do is say, okay, I know that I've got to, finish that report or do whatever, but I'm not going to do it now. So just acknowledge it and then put it aside and then go back to whatever you're focusing on. And that's training your brain just to be quiet and be focused.
For the first 5 minutes, there's an endless parade of thoughts, almost a storm of thoughts of, I must remember to do this, and what about that, and I need to do this. And it might be okay to just quickly write a load of things down and then go back into it, because your brain will run out of things to come up with. Yeah. But the other option, as you say, is just to say, I'll come back to that later. Yeah. And if a motorbike goes past, don't go, oh, it's ruined everything. Just think, oh, there's a motorbike going past. Yeah. And then it's fine and it's gone again. Yeah. You mentioned mantras, by the way, and some people are given a mantra and it's incredibly secret and they mustn't tell anybody else what the mantra is. Yeah. And you can get into mantras if you want, but what I would say to people watching this is either try to think of nothing, and every time you have a thought, just push it out of your mind and think, I'm not going to think about that.
That's so hard to do, though.
It's so hard to do.
I know, I don't think that's very good advice, actually. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, all right then. I was going to say, or just have a word, like let's say calm, that you just say over and over again. I think calm is quite a good word to use because it's got calm. It's like a long calm.
Yeah, anything.
And just keep saying that word over and over again, calm. And as your brain keeps coming up with other thoughts, think, no, I'm not going to think about that. I'm just going to think about calm. And in your head, you just say it over and over again. And after about 5 minutes, you'll start thinking, this is never going to work. I'm never going to push all these thoughts out of my mind just by saying the word calm over and over. And then suddenly, ping, the alarm goes off for 20 minutes. You set the alarm for 20 minutes and you think, what? Well, I was just about to go under and it's finished. And that's because the thoughts have finished and then you've been meditating for 15 minutes. Having had 5 minutes of battling with your brain, you've then been under for 15 minutes and the alarm goes off. You need an alarm because otherwise you might be under all day.
Well, I was going to say I recommend a timer. When I'm in my yoga class, my teacher always goes, I'll mind the time. And then you just relinquish your worry about how long it is or how long you've done, or have I done 5 minutes, have I done 10? And so you sort of give somebody else responsibility to tell you to come back.
People always use a timer, don't they? Yeah, I mean, I don't really know why. Because would it matter if you were under for half an hour?
No.
But people always seem to have a timer.
People who meditate regularly know how long they've been. They're kind of aware as well, because you're not going to sleep. You're still.
It's a bit like I've seen people who are meditating, and it's a bit like they've been hypnotized because they're sitting there, maybe with their eyes shut or open, blankly, almost like what they're watching TV in a way, because they're just sitting there completely blank. So they're not asleep, but they're not awake. Because what it is their talking brain's been switched off, but the rest of their brain is still on. It's quite odd.
The Zen, the Zen meditators sit facing a wall. So they'd be sitting here facing the wall. So they all sit around the room facing the wall. So there's no distractions.
Yeah, well, you could look at a wall. So basically you sit in your chair, you repeat your word, calm, or whatever word you're going to have. You push the thoughts out of your mind. And after about 5 minutes, but it might be 2 or it might be 10. And I guess with practice, you can probably get under quicker. I don't know. But after about 5 minutes for me, suddenly, boof, you wake up 20 minutes have gone. I say wake up, you haven't been asleep.
No.
You come to, as it were, the alarm goes off and you think, whoa, 20 minutes has gone.
And you feel refreshed.
And you feel great.
Feel refreshed and full of love.
Yes. And how is this linked to happiness? And the answer is your brain works better, you're more creative, it gets rid of a certain amount of stress, mental stress is gone, you feel better.
But you've got it, the other thing is it's available to you to drop into that focus. It's something that if you've practiced it, you can't just suddenly think, oh, I need to go into a meditation here. It's something that the reason to do it regularly is that your brain understands it and you practice it.
Yes.
You learn how to do it. A bit like running. You can't just suddenly run a mile. You have to.
No, but I would say to anybody watching this, they can do their first ever meditation straight after this. Just get a chair, quiet room where you won't be interrupted, set your timer.
Yeah.
Stare at something boring and just repeat the word and let your brain slowly go. Anybody can do it straight away. They could do it.
Yeah.
What about time of day?
Oh, well, ideally you meditate first thing in the morning and in the evening. With the sunrise and the sunset, the changing of the day is always a very good time to do. In fact, it's really fabulous if you meditate at dawn and you kind of start when it's dark, and then when you open your eyes, it's light. That's a really brilliant feeling.
Oh, that is good.
I love that.
I might try that, but that does mean getting up early.
Yes, I tend to do that when I'm on a retreat rather than when I'm at home.
Yeah. But if somebody had, say, a lunch hour and there was a quiet room could go to, they could do it at lunchtime and it would be fine, wouldn't it?
You can do it anytime, anywhere where you're comfortable.
Your brain's more crowded with thoughts you're halfway through your day, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you're going to, it's good to have a practice so that you do it every morning or every evening to get some kind of regularity into it. And then it really is practice. Just like you would practice running every day, or, you have things set that you do.
You could make it part of your morning routine.
Yes, exactly.
If anybody wants to know my morning routine, by the way, just have a look at my website. I've put a post out of what my morning routine is. Disgraceful. If you want to laugh, have a look at that.
But the main thing, I think the main thing is not to go into it with too many expectations. Although we've said that it's great and it helps and it can make you happier. Just see what you discover. Try it,
see what it does for you. Yeah. And if it doesn't do anything, then don't continue. But I bet it does something good.
And it's good if you can find some friends or some kind of community that also meditates, that helps, encourages you. And get a teacher if you can.
Yes, so you meditate sometimes with a group of people, don't you? And you all sit in a room and you all go quiet and you all sit there and do it.
And that is so beautiful. It feels to be in a room with a load of people who are awake but silent and still is so beautiful. It's so relaxing and a real privilege, I find. I really appreciate that.
I'm quite happy doing it on my own.
Yeah. But maybe you're not alone. So at any time, I've got an app that I do my timing with. And at any moment, there's thousands of people around the world who are on the app meditating. So you're joining with the unified
What's the name of the app? Can you remember the name of the app?
It's called the Insight, an Insight app.
Right.
And it has a little timer on it. You can have a lovely chiming bell or whatever and keep a tally of how many days you meditate. Although I think I'm not sure about that. That's a bit of pressure. You don't want expectations and anything to go with it. You just want to do it. You just want to relax and refresh yourself rather than be thinking, oh, it's my 100th day or my 200th day. How can I like the
idea of a nice gentle chime at the end there. You don't want a normal alarm clock going at the end of your meditation, do you?
Exactly. So it's much better to have a nice little timer. Yeah, the Insight app.
So there we are. Easy to do. All sorts of benefits. Who knows what yours will be.
Okay.
You absolutely should do it. So bring on the vase of wisdom. For the next quote, my mum, bless her, would have called it. Do you want to pick one for me?
I'll pick one for you.
From the vase of wisdom.
Look, it's a big one.
Oh, yes. Right. Oh, it's from Epicurus, Greek philosopher. You like those Greek philosophers, don't you? Of all the means which are procured by wisdom to ensure happiness throughout the whole life, by far the most important is the acquisition of friends.
Well, we'll refer you back to our podcast about friendship.
Yes, the acquisition of friends. That's what Epicurus... But Epicurus would say that because he was a bit of a party animal, wasn't he?
Yeah. But the acquisition of friends. I know, but friends don't always mean parties, do they? Friends mean support. Friends mean enjoyment.
Yeah.
Friends mean relationships.
And we've talked about friends before,
life.
but it is worth making the effort to actually talk to people and meet people and find out about people, and then they might become a friend.
Yeah.
So
it'll make life interesting.
Yes. So thank you, Epicurious.
Yeah.
Thank you to the Vase of Wisdom for that. And that's all for this week, isn't it?
I think so.
We will be back next week to talk about another aspect of happiness. In the meantime, by the way, if you'd like to put comments about meditation, of have you tried it? What did you think? And what benefits did you get from it? We would love to see that. Please do put your comments. YouTube is probably the place to comment. But if you're able to comment on the podcast app you're using as well, we would love to see your thoughts on meditation.
Excellent. Right. Great to see you.
Goodbye for now.
Bye.